high level, very fast last year, pretty much from the season opener. Are you expecting more growing pains with this team? You're so freshman reliant.
Yeah, I don't know what those pains are going to be because we got great personalities. The thing I like about this group, they talk. It's a much more vocal group, which I do think will help us defensively as we grow at that end. But you know, just playing together and getting more of that in. You know, last year's team we had a lot of vets, just a few freshmen. This year, you know, when you look at vets that really have playing time, it's Gigi, Tom, and Aaron, because Alex and Prince didn't play last year. So we really got 8 new guys, where last year we're really counting on 3 new guys. So it's kind of the reverse of last year. And then the schedule. You know, the schedule becomes much more difficult because we're not the proximity. We're not close to home. Our first game's in Shanghai, China. We come home, play some home games, and then we go to Kansas City, come home, play some home games, then go to Ann Arbor, come home, play a couple games, and then you go to New Orleans. You know, so you have much more travel, where last year our travel was Anaheim and Vegas. So we're able to just kind of take care of things here at home and get adjusted to that. The travel and the competition is going to get ramped up here with this team. So there'll definitely be some growing pains. I don't know what those pains are, and I don't want to foresee any of that. But I do know it's going to be a working process with these young guys. But they've shown a lot of growth just in the month that we've had them.
You talked about the practice schedule starting earlier. How much does that help, considering this is a very young team, to get those extra practices?
Well, it starts earlier, but you really have the same rules. It's 42 days. It's a little bit more 42 days now from here, but you got to take those 12 days off. So really just trying to manage those 12 days off that we take, and trying to manage a China trip. So that's what's difficult, because we're leaving Saturday, where a lot of teams have this extra week built in, being able to, one, take days off while you're here and stay here. We're going to be in a foreign country at that time with obviously massive travel, and it hits the recruiting period, and it hits midterms. So it's that kind of scheduling makes it difficult. So we really just tried to, how can we keep advancing what we want to do and stay healthy? And we're pretty healthy. Other than Jalen Hill right now, we're pretty healthy.
What's up with him?
Just sore knee, and I don't think it's anything major. I think it's just something that he's 17 years of age, and we're going to take it slow with him. But he's doing well. He's progressed very well, but it's nothing, you know, it's nothing major. It's more precautionary than it is anything else.
Tomorrow?
Don't know. I think he's probably doubtful for tomorrow, and then hopeful for Georgia Tech.
Talk about this trip. Sorry, I was just going to say, obviously it's a lot to get into in this kind of setting, but have you ever been involved with a regular season game that involves this much playing?
Never. I've been doing it 27 years, so it's, you know, I'd like to be able to tell the guys I got a lot of experience in a lot of different areas, but basically doing a foreign trip to start the season, we've never done that before. So it's an extensive trip. You know, and it's going to test our mental toughness right away as a young basketball team, just because of that travel. And you know, everybody's going to be excited, and it's going to be a great trip. So I'm not so much worried about the trip that week as much as I am what happens after that, because then you have a lot going on, you know, from holidays and the travel that we have to do prior to Thanksgiving, playing in Kansas City. You have Thanksgiving, which our guys are going to be playing 2 home games right after Thanksgiving. Then you move into finals. Finals come very quickly, and you got the Ann Arbor trip and the New Orleans trip that are looming inside of there, with a home date against Cincinnati, who's a top 15 date. So the travel is concerning once we get past China.
Do you think the guys have a full appreciation that this is in Australia last year, that this is a regular season game that counts in the standings?
Well, they better.
Okay.
You know, they better. That's you know, that's our job to make sure that they do understand that once we tip it up. But I think they will. Obviously, going to China, they know that's where we're tipping things off. It's just unusual. Usually, you're tipping off your college basketball season at home, and we got a home game, a bye game. But it doesn't always work out that way. And so this will be an exciting trip for them, and we'll get a chance to do that. And then you get to do it against an ACC opponent. So it's not your typical first game of the season, let alone when it's for freshmen. We got a lot of freshmen playing in their first college basketball game, and it's an ACC opponent. So their system will get shocked right away.
Obviously, you have all the variables with the travel and the schedule, but with all the young guys, what challenges does that present? How does it affect the way you coach and approach the area?
Well, and we didn't know. This was scheduled pretty late for us, because we had the rest of the schedule done. So, you know, had more preparation for that, I probably would have went to 2 exhibition games, just so they would have crowd, and they'd have that. So we've only got one. That's why tomorrow night is a really big dry run for us. Not so much of, a little bit for coaches of figuring out rotations, because we do have very good depth, and we saw a little bit of that in the scrimmage where I had some lineups out there I didn't like and I got to stay away from. So we're learning that as coaches as well. But then the players going through it for the first time. Again, usually it's a home opener, so they're at home, they're comfortable. Now they're going to be, one, in a foreign country, and two, they've never had a college basketball game before. So now you're doing that in Shanghai. It's going to be different. So as coaches, we got to make sure that they just check in the right way. They check into the game the right way. They understand timeouts. It's, because freshmen, you can't assume anything. They've never had media timeouts. They're just not used to any of those type of things. So all those things, then it's an ACC opponent. There's a lot being thrown at them. Coaches got to show some patience. We've got to do a good job being patient, because there's going to be some mistakes made. We know that, but they're very talented. This is a really talented group that they care. They've worked very hard, and they're going to make some mistakes early, but they'll continue to grow and mature. I really believe that.
Do you have a starting lineup yet?
Not yet. Tomorrow, I think we'll go Holiday, Hands, Wilkes, Golemon, and Welsh will probably be how we'll go tomorrow. But that can always change too. But that's probably how we'll look tomorrow.
How'd you like Hands and Holiday playing together so far?
Well, very fast. You got a veteran in Aaron, who I think is as good as it gets. So you got somebody that's playing at a really high level. Him and Tom have been through the wars. Gigi, really because of his experience, to give us a little bit more experience as we start games. We have a lot of guys I think we can put in that spot, but making sure that we don't have too much of the youth movement going on to start things, because I think those three have a lot of experience. And then with Wilkes and Hands, you got two guys that are just really, really talented, play the game fast, and allows us to do the things both offensively and defensively that I think to start the game is very good for us.
What else are you doing in China besides the game?
We have something just about every day. It looks like the itinerary I've seen, and my biggest concern is managing the whole thing of, we're over there for 6 days before we play. That's unusual when you go on a road trip in basketball. So having that much time, trying to get adjusted. The flight over obviously is very long. So there's a lot of those things, and then all the things that the Pac-12 and UCLA have us set up to do. And oh, by the way, we've got every player over there taking midterms. So we'll be taking midterms from over there as well. And obviously we got a plan for a game too. So it's a full slate of activities, for sure.
Has the strength and conditioning staff or anybody talked about those physical adjustments?
Yeah, and those are things that we'll really talk. We've actually had a staff meeting today talking about. We got to discuss that as soon as the game ends tomorrow night. We'll really get into it because Thursday will be a day off. So the guys really got to get things organized from that standpoint, and then Wes and our staff have done a really good job of just reaching out. Washington's already been, Stanford's already been, and it's the current Stanford staff that was over there. So just talking to them about things that they would do differently, do the same, things to be concerned about. So we're trying to gather as much information as we can, because most colleges teams don't have a lot of experience doing this to start the season.
Did they have any specific advice, those schools that you reached out to?
I don't know of that. Wes is really doing all of that, so I'm sure he'll bring me into the loop tomorrow sometime, and then we'll discuss that with the team on Wednesday through Friday.